Hey guys, and welcome back to
MegaJordinary.
If you are new here, we cover true crime cases, cold cases, missing persons cases, conspiracies, mysteries, just interesting topics in general. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, and if you're returning, thank you for all your support. We really appreciate every single one of you. Today's case is a very important topic to shed light on. It's not just one case we're going to be covering, it's basically a humanitarian crisis that we are covering today. We've wanted to cover this ever since the Gabby Petito case gained so much widespread traction. That was basically a media storm. Gabby Petito's case was literally the only thing that you would see when you go on any form of social media platform. The time Gabby went missing, to when her body was found, to when Brian Laundrie went missing, and up until Brian Laundrie's body or remains were discovered. And the Gabby Petito case just really shed light on the racial disparity, especially in the USA. And before we get into it, we do not mean any disrespect in any way, shape or form to Gabby Petito or Gabby Petito's family. You know, we are glad that Gabby was found and that her parents got the closure that they needed. It's very tragic what happened to Gabby, so we are in no way, shape or form making light of that whatsoever. We simply just want to highlight the racial disparities in missing persons cases and the media coverage differences between them. And we think that every single person that goes missing worldwide, no matter what background they're from, no matter what the situation was, I think they all deserve to get the same amount of media attention that Gabby Petito got. End of. And again, the Petito case is a classic case of what the media have termed as missing white woman syndrome. Missing white woman syndrome refers to cases involving white, young, upper middle class white women, and the media attention that they get when they go missing in comparison to the lack of attention towards missing women who are not white, women of lower classes, and even missing men or boys. And again, just to reiterate our previous disclaimer, we do not mean any offence. We are simply just wanting to bring awareness and shed light on the differences in media coverage, resources, police resources, and just everything in general. We're actually going to link all of our resources and our sources in the description box, so anything that we do discuss in this video, we will link our sources and the resources that you can go to help and learn more about the topics that we're going to be discussing in this video. So this video in particular, we are going to be focusing on the missing and murdered Indigenous women crisis that is currently going on and has been going on in the USA and Canada. An article that was written by Elle magazine reported that in Wyoming, when the Gabby Petito case was ongoing, this is where Gabby was found and went missing from, that a missing and murdered Indigenous people task force found that there were 710 Indigenous people, the majority of those being female, that have vanished in and around Wyoming since 2011. And no media coverage. Native Americans and Native Indigenous people today face extraordinary challenges. They've always faced these challenges. And here are some statistics on missing Indigenous people. 29 is the median age of missing and murdered Indigenous girls. And Native American women make up the majority of missing persons cases in the USA. And the murder rate in America is 10 times higher than the national average for women living on native reservations. And murder is the third leading cause of death for Native women. And it's been reported that Native people only make up 2% of the overall US population. Those statistics are absolutely insane. The Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Task Force also report that 50% of missing Indigenous people are normally found within a week, while 21% remain missing for 30 days or more, never to be found. Whereas only 11% of white people remain missing for that long. And only 30% of Indigenous homicide cases make the news, compared to 51% of white victims. As you can see, this is a humanitarian crisis. All of our sources and resources will be linked in our description box, and I would urge you all to go and check them out for yourselves, because it's a wealth of knowledge and it's really important that you educate yourself on this matter so that you can help be a part of making a change.
We are now going to discuss some of these women's cases. Abigail Andrews was 28 years old at the time of her disappearance. Abigail was in the early stages of pregnancy, so she wasn't quite shown just yet. Abigail was Métis. The Métis are Indigenous people in 3 prairie provinces. These are Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, as well as Ontario, British Columbia, Northwest Territories, Atlantic Canada, and Northern USA. They have a shared history and culture, a mix of Indigenous and French ancestry. Abigail worked at FSJ Fashions and the Frontier Bar and Grill in Fort St. John, British Columbia. After walking home from her friend's house, she was never seen again. No transactions have been made on Abigail's bank card since the day she went missing. Abigail told her neighbour she was going to visit a male friend on 98th Avenue. At 7 p.m. that night, she called her mother, Debbie Andrews, and said she would call again once she was home. But unfortunately, she never did. The last sighting of Abigail was on 94th Avenue. Her parents said that she was really excited about the pregnancy and had recently gone baby clothes shopping with her parents. Abigail's parents are adamant that she did not go missing of her own accord. In 2013, the RCMP police force released a reenactment video of the night of Abigail's disappearance. They did find one suspect, but nothing has ever came of this since. In 1989, 24-year-old Alberta Gail Williams was found dead on the outskirts of Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Alberta was a member of the Gitxsan Nation and was from Gatineau, British Columbia. Gitxsan Nation is one of Canada's First Nations. Alberta and her sister had been living in an apartment in downtown Vancouver, but wanted to spend the summer in a more rural area. So they went to northern British Columbia in order to look for some summer work. Alberta and Claudia, her sister, were working at a local fish cannery among hundreds of Indigenous people who were also hired as seasonal workers. On the 26th of August 1989, Alberta and Claudia met with their co-workers after their 15-hour shift at a bar called Popeyes. They were outside chatting amongst others, and Claudia said that she turned her head to talk to her boyfriend for a split second, and when she turned back, Alberta was gone. Witnesses said Alberta got into a truck with her uncle Jack and another man who they described as non-native. When Alberta's body was found, she had reportedly been physically and sexually assaulted before being murdered. The stretch of road Alberta's body was found is often coined the Highway of Tears. This is a 725-kilometre stretch of road, which has been the location of many missing and murdered Indigenous women since 1970. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police formed a task force in 2007, solely focused on solving crimes committed against women along this highway. As of 2021, they have identified 18 women connected to it, including Alberta. However, Indigenous organisations dispute this and estimate that this number ranges over 40. There's lots of strange things around Alberta's case. Allegedly, Alberta went to a party with her uncle and an unknown man that night. We are going to leave links down below to look more into Alberta's case. Unfortunately, Alberta's murder has never been solved.
Now is a good time to mention that a number of serial killers have been convicted in cases relating to the Highway of Tears. Cody Allen Leggaboff, born on the 21st of January 1990, is considered one of Canada's youngest serial killers. and was convicted in 2014 of murdering 3 women and 1 teenage girl. Lauren Dawn Leslie was Cody's 15-year-old victim, and she is included in the Highway of Tears murders. Lauren was not native, she was a white female, and she was legally blind. She had no vision in one eye and only 50% vision in her other eye. She had met Cody on an online website and had arranged to meet up on the day of her murder. Now, although not classed as a Highway of Tears victim, Cynthia Mass, a 35-year-old native woman, was murdered by Lekbov in 2010. Her body was found in a Prince George park, and her cause of death was blunt force trauma. It was very close to the highway, but it's technically not classed as a Highway of Tears murder. Serial killer Edward Dennis Isaac was convicted of the murders of Nina Joseph, Jean Kovacs, and Roswitha Fuchs-Bickler. Nina was a native girl whose nude body was found on the 16th of August 1982 in Freeman Park, which is just off the highway. She was just 15 years old and her manner of death was stabbing. Roswitha Fuchs-Bickler was also a native girl, and she was just 13 years old when her body was found in a wooded area north of Prince George at 9:25 a.m. on the 21st of November 1981. Roswitha's body was also found naked, and she had died in the same manner as Nina. Jean Marie Kovacs was a 35-year-old First Nations woman whose body was found in a watery ditch 40 kilometers east of Prince George on the 11th of October 1981. Jean's autopsy revealed that she had died as a result of 4 gunshot wounds to the head. Brian Peter Arp was convicted of the murders of Teresa Humphrey and Marnie Blanchard. Teresa Humphreys was an Indigenous woman whose body was tragically found in a ditch on the side of a road in February of 1993. Cause of death was strangulation. Marnie Blanchard, aged 18, was last seen at around 2 a.m. on the 22nd of November 1989, and her remains were found on December the 11th, 1989, by hikers on an unmarked road west of the Foothills Boulevard. Her remains were said to have been disturbed by animals, and so they had to identify her body by X-ray and dental records. And honestly, I'm not sure if Marnie was native or if she wasn't native, because there is virtually no information about her online. Same as most of these girls, there's virtually nothing, no background information, it's bare minimum. So this is what we're trying to convey. There's not enough coverage of these women and their stories and their cases.
Kiana Klump is a 17-year-old Native American girl who was last seen at her residence in Post Falls, Idaho on the 22nd of March 2020 around 1:30 a.m. And unfortunately there has been no leads in Kiana's case to present day. There are many more cases of missing and murdered Indigenous women. There will be links in the description to look more into these women's cases and also the cases that we haven't covered today.
So we would urge you to look into those, as we said at the start of the video, educate yourself and just see how big this is.
So thanks so much for watching today's video. Let us know what you think down below in the comments, and if you enjoy our content, please hit that subscribe button because it really would help us out. And last but not least, please turn on that notification bell to be notified for any future videos.
We will be back next week with another video, so until then, stay safe and yeah, bye.